Hey, what's up guys? So, here is another movie review, and this time I am talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, the new Marvel movie. Uh, when I first saw the first trailer to this movie back in like February, I really wasn't looking forward to it really much because I've never seen these characters before. It looked really weird, and it kind of just looked very cheesy. Man, was I wrong. Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the biggest surprises for a movie ever for me. Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the best Marvel movies of all time. I loved this movie, and I really wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did. There are so many things I love about this movie, but first let's talk about the plot. The plot is about these five people: Starlord, a pilot and thief character played by Chris Pratt; Gamora, an assassin played by Zoe Saldana, who is daughter to a very nefarious being named Ronan, who is the villain of the movie; Drax, a very strong alien dude who is out for revenge against Ronan for killing his family, played by Dave Bautista; Groot, a giant walking tree-like being, played by Vin Diesel; and Rocket Raccoon, a genetically engineered talking raccoon, voiced by Bradley Cooper. And these five people must come together to stop Ronan from taking over the galaxy. There's so many things that are great about this movie, and my favorite part about this movie is that it takes these characters who most people have never heard of before, and it makes them likable from the get-go. I loved these characters so much. Each character has so many great lines, and this movie is freaking funny. And I mean funny. When I first saw the trailer to this movie, the laughs didn't really get to me. I really didn't get most of the jokes in the movie, in the trailer. Uh, I but in the movie, there are so many funny lines that I laughed my butt off in this movie, and there's so many parts where I was laughing and I almost fell to the floor. The writing in this movie is just brilliant. I want to talk about the five main Guardians in this movie. Starlord, played by Chris Pratt, is a really, really likable main character. He has a ton of great lines, and the opening of this movie actually really got to me. It was really, really emotional how they opened this movie up, and I I like this character from the get-go because something really, really terrible happens to him when he's a child, and it actually shocked me how emotional this was, and I almost like shed a tear. Also, Gamora, played by Zoe Saldana, is a really, really badass chick, and she has a ton of great fight scenes in this movie. She is really good actress, and she also added a lot of depth to the movie. Also, one of the most surprising characters in this movie, Drax the Destroyer, played by Dave Bautista, actually was a really cool dude, and he was a very likable character too. And the part about this movie where his family was killed by Ronan actually gave him a lot of depth, and he actually had a really funny presence in this movie. Groot, played by Vin Diesel, only has I know this is kind of a spoiler, but he only has three lines in this movie, and it's the same line over and over again. It's the "I am Groot" line, but every time he does it, I laughed, and usually that really annoys me when like they do that to you. But it actually was really, really funny how they did that. And Rocket in this movie, played by Bradley Cooper, is one of the coolest Marvel characters ever. This character stole the show in every second he was on screen. He was so cool, he was so funny, and he actually was really likable too. Also, the movie looks great. The thing about this movie that I love so much is that everything in this movie is colorful, and it really pops off the screen, and it would have been really cool to see all the crazy stuff in 3D. I didn't see it in 3D, but if I did, it would have been really cool to see this in 3D because everything pops off the screen. Everything is colorful and vibrant. The various worlds they see and visit in this movie are really interesting places, and the characters they find in these worlds are very interesting characters. Also, the action scenes of this movie are very exciting too. It's not like the coolest action in a Marvel movie, it's not, but the action scenes still do excite you, and they are exciting to watch. And the final act of this movie is really, really awesome, and the climax is really, really cool. Also, another really, really good thing I have to give to this movie is the soundtrack. And I'm not really talking about the original score. The original score is okay, but it really didn't stick out to me that much. But the soundtrack and the various songs they use in this movie really, really match up with what's going on in the movie, and it's really cool to hear. And I really have nothing negative to say about this movie. I really don't. I couldn't really find anything that I didn't like about this movie. And I was so sure I wasn't going to like this movie when I first saw the trailers, but this movie surprised me in every way. Final verdict, Guardians of the Galaxy is freaking awesome. It is one of the best Marvel movies I've seen ever. It's on par with the Avengers. I'm not even lying. It is that good. Everything about this movie is great. It's so funny. It's so well written. It has great characters. It has everything. So I know I've given these a lot this summer, but I'm gonna give Guardians of the Galaxy a 10 out of 10. Go see it.